morning. You're back in the Pickle Barrel. Glad to have you here with us. Okay, just got to give you a little bit of idea where we're going right now. You know, I was just got through spending the last hour or so talking about how people need to be involved, how things have changed through history, and we need to have more and more people get involved. We need to bring up our kids so, you know, they realize that, hey, they've got responsibilities too. And so at the beginning of the program, I had mentioned that April is the month that I dedicate to families, to children, and to those special problems that we have in this country, such as, gangs, lack of education, parents who are not parents, parents who do not know how to be parents because they themselves are kids, divorce parents, abuse, neglect, all those issues, DWIs, DUIs, reckless endangerment. This is the month that I set aside to talk about the issues that every one of us come in connection with at some time or other in our lives, usually on a daily basis. We all know people who have suffered from drug overdose, either themselves or their children or grandchildren. We know people who have domestic abuse or violence in their families. We know children that are in trouble. We know children who are ignored. And there's one organization, folks, I want to tell you that's been around for a long time, and you know who they are, the Girl Scouts of America. And they've been around a very, very long time. And they have made a difference in a lot of families and a lot of young ladies' lives. And we're going to be talking about them this morning. I have Loretta Graham with us. She is the new Chief Executive Officer of the Girl Scouts of Eastern South Carolina. Loretta, thank you for being with me this morning.
Thank you, Bill, for having me.
You know, when we met, I said, I think you realized it didn't take 5 minutes. I said, I want you on the show.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. And here I am.
I know it. I appreciate it. You know, Girl Scouts, how long has the Girl Scouts actually been around?
Girl Scouts has been around for 103 years. Juliet Gordon-Low started the organization back in 1912. And she actually started with her family right there in Savannah, Georgia. Mm-hmm. And she said, I've got something for the ladies of Savannah. And then she said, and all of America. And then she went on to say, and all the world. And she said, it's going to start tonight. Uh-huh. And she started that first Girl Scout troop with only 18 girls in the troop. And she started with her family. Juliet Gordon-Low, you know, you were talking earlier about the importance of volunteers. Juliet Gordon-Low, our founder, never asked a volunteer to do a job. She just simply asked them to make a difference in the life of girls. And she started that first organization 103 years ago. And she never would have dreamed that we would be at about 2 million girls right now in the United States.
That's outstanding. Hey, folks, I want to tell you a little bit about Loretta Graham, that she does know what she's talking about. She attended Morris College in Sumter, where she earned a bachelor's degree in communication, and though she lived in North Carolina for more than 25 years, just almost as old as I am, right? Yeah, about a quarter as old as I am. She took the helm of Girl Scouts of Eastern South Carolina just about 8 years ago.
Mm-hmm. That's correct.
2008. Mm-hmm. You've got 20 years experience devoted to nonprofits, mostly as regional director of Dakota Horizons Girl Scouts.
Yes.
That's outstanding. Well, let me ask you this. Going through, of course, I always like to do some research on anything that I'm talking about. And I did a lot of research on the Girl Scouts in the last few weeks. Mm-hmm. And I am amazed at some of the accomplishments that they have done. And some of the projects that they're involved in, the number of people that are involved, and some of the issues that come along with that.
That's correct.
Not everything's run perfect.
That's right.
A lot of people have different opinions about different things. Mm-hmm. But you know what? That's what makes this country great.
That is absolutely
we can have those differences. And I take the job personally of trying to say, okay, you got the differences, now let's see what we can do with them.
That's correct.
That's one of my pet peeves. So,
Bill, our mission is that we build girls of courage, confidence, and character who's going to make this world a better place. And if they make the world a better place, they start with their community, with doing community projects. And they'll make their community a better place, in turn make their state a better place, and then make the world a better place. 70% of our female House of Representatives were Girl Scouts. Every astronaut, with the exception of one, that were Girl Scouts, every astronaut that's flown in a female astronaut that's flown into space was a Girl Scout. I'm sorry. And in our promise, we talk about, on my honor, I will try to serve God and my country, to help people at all times, and to live by the Girl Scout law. And in the Girl Scout law, we talk about being honest and fair and friendly and helpful and considerate and caring and respecting authority and respecting yourself.
Well, imagine that.
That is absolutely right. In South Carolina, we ranked, as far as education, we ranked number 38 out of the 50 states.
Really?
Number 38 out of the 50 states. So Girl Scouting is truly building women and young girls that is not only going to lead the world, but they're going to change it. With the volunteers that we have, they are the cornerstone of this movement. We could not do what we do without our wonderful volunteers.
I was just talking before you walked in here about volunteers and what a force they can be.
Mm-hmm.
And, be honest with you, about every organization I've ever been involved in, it's the volunteers that do the work. No offense to you.
That's right.
It's not the staff.
That's right.
It's the volunteers.
Mm-hmm.
Without the volunteers, you would not have your organization. And that's the same way it is in politics. If it wasn't for the volunteers, the people that get involved, that help, that care, it would never take place.
Yes, and as a matter of fact, this coming month in April, is Volunteer Appreciation Month. And we are going to be having our annual meeting, as you well know, on the 18th of April. And we're going to be recognizing those volunteers because truly we could not do what we do without them. They are the meat and potatoes, I would say, of this organization. And girls always look up to volunteers to help them become the women that the world needs them to be.
Yeah. Y'all keep seeing me looking around over the computer screen. We got a conversation going over here with a gentleman that lives in the Netherlands.
Oh.
And they're listening in this morning and saying that we have a organization similar to them, and I'm just typing him back, asking what was the name of it and what they do. So.
Yeah, we have Girl Guides, I want to say, in the Netherlands.
The what?
Girl Guides.
Girl Guides.
Yeah,
okay.
We're in 103 countries.
Okay.
Girl Scouts and Girl Guides.
All right. Well, you're talking to someone over in the Netherlands right now. So,
wonderful.
Wonderful. And people all over the state and all United States. We have guests that listen in from 42 different states and 7 or 8 different countries that listen in quite frequently. And Size 77 here is what we call him. That's his code name.
Mm-hmm.
He's in with us almost every day. So,
wonderful.
Okay, you had talking about the volunteers. Let's talk about the girls.
Okay.
Girl Scouts are what age children?
Girl Scouts start at the early age of 5. We believe in starting at an early age, 5 to 17-year-olds. And we call our 5-year-olds our Daisy Girl Scouts. And that's first grade and kindergarten and first grade. And then we have our next level that we call our Brownies.
I'm familiar with brownies.
And brownies.
I love brownies. With hot coffee or cold milk. No, the way we first met, and I mentioned that, I was a brownie mother.
Yes.
Or father,
yes.
not mother. But, my daughter and some of our neighbors wanted to get into a troop, and they said, well, they just had too many people. They really need more volunteers. But no one would volunteer. But my daughter, Daddy, I really want to be a brownie. And I think that was my first I believe that really was my first true volunteer position, was a brownie dad.
And you loved it, every bit of it.
You know, I did. You know, but to be honest with you, I had a man ask me last week when I told him about that and that you were going to be here, and he said, but Bill, you know, with things the way they are, weren't you scared that people would think you're some type of a pervert or something working with girls? And I said, I'm sorry. I think there's perverted people out there that should be not be working with girls, but I think it's a perversion that people are always so concerned about that. I mean, you know, come on, face it. A lot of these girls do not have daddy figures.
That's right.
They do not have a man in their life, like Big Brothers, Big Sisters. That's another great organization that work with boys and girls.
That's right.
And I think there's a lot that men can do to help out in these situations.
Girls look up to male figures, and, you know, we have a T-shirt that says, man enough to be a Girl Scout. And we certainly need our volunteers. Like I said, they are the cornerstone of this movement. And as far as people worrying about, you know, who are their children going to be with, our volunteers have to go through a very extensive background check. We check them out very well before we put them with our girls. So when you put your children in an organization like the Girl Scouts, you don't need to worry because it is a preventative organization. But most of our money goes to where, Bill? Crisis intervention. And I always say that if you put them in a Girl Scout program, in our program, you'll never see them in crisis intervention.
That's great. That's great. You know, there's a lot of things out there, people that are not involved in organizations such as Girl Scouts really get confused about. And I took the liberty to pull up a research study that was done by your organization, and I threw my notes away. I mean, I couldn't read my scribbling, and this covered probably 90% of what was in my notes, and I can read this. It's typed. You know, my wife says I got the handwriting of a doctor. No, doctors wish they could write as doctors. You should be happy that you could. I'm trying to say I write worse than a doctor. She said, you would be happy to be able to write like a doctor, because that'd be a vast improvement. That's what she was trying to tell me. But, you know, children have the natural tendency to believe that everything is okay. You know, they have the assumptions that whatever people tell them is the truth. They feel like everyone is good people. That, you know, they have no issues in life. And so often that childhood is disrupted because they find out that's not true.
That's correct.
And Girl Scouts and organizations such as this, I think, plays a vital part in that. And I'm sure that you have troubled children that have come into the organization that you've seen some vast improvement in because of their activities. What are some of the activities the girls do get involved in that will help them in these type of situations?
Well, I'm going to give you two things just recently that I was involved in as far as Girl Scouting. We had one young lady that did her Gold Award. And let me tell you about the Gold Award. The Gold Award is equal to the Boy Scout Eagle Award.
Wow.
And the Boy Scout, I always turn that thing around, Bill, and say the Boy Scout Eagle Award is equal to the Girl Scout Gold Award, because some of these things that these girls are doing is they do an amazing work. We have, that's the highest award a girl can receive in Girl Scouting. We also have a Silver Award, which is the next highest, and we have a Bronze Award. And that's what I want to talk about. These young ladies were at school, and they noticed that there was kids that would come to school just to eat. They lived in the projects. They did not have food, and so they're happy that school is there because they get to eat. Well, these young ladies decided that what do they do when they're not in school and they are at home for the weekend? Well, these young ladies decided, it's about 5 of them, amongst themselves, that they were going to start collecting food for these children so they can eat on the weekend. And that was their project. Again, Girl Scouts making the world, a community, a better place. I just gave those girls their Bronze Award patch for doing this amazing job. And I said to those girls, I said, do you know that South Carolina is ranked number 38 when it comes to education? And they said to me, really? I said, yes. And I said, do you know why? I said, maybe it's because the kids come to school hungry and they're not able to pay attention to what's going on in school. But you have made a difference in that. Now that when they go home, they can eat on the weekend, and maybe when they come to school on Monday morning, they'll be able to pay attention because their tummies are full.
Mm-hmm.
So those kids at a very young age is making a difference in their community.
Wow.
That's what we are about.
That's great. That's great. You know, I was reading the part of the report, the moral assumptions of a major finding, and it's talking about the different programs you have as far as the top 5 types of moral compasses: the civic humanist, conventionalist, expressivist, theistic, utilitarian. You know, all of these things. And when I'm looking at this, I'm thinking, man, I know a lot of adults that need to be going through these classes.
Right.
A lot of them.
Right.
A lot of them. I know a lot of politicians that need to go through those classes.
Another one of our programs.
You notice I didn't place them in the same category as adults. You know?
Right. Another one of our programs that we have been very, very successful in is the bullying program. We have a program that's called BFF, and that's Be a Friend First. And that is teaching girls and how to be a friend versus being a bully. And you know that is huge right now when it comes to bullying and kids picking on kids and messing with kids. But in Girl Scouting, we teach them, you need to be a friend first. Be a friend to that person and not be afraid to speak out and say, you know, what is wrong and what is right. So
that's great. That's great. We're going to have a show here in the next few days, well, next week, about bullying. So it's another topic we're going to be talking about. So.
I just cannot, Bill, say enough about this wonderful Girl Scout program. And as you can tell, I'm a very proud CEO because I know what this program do for girls. If you touch any successful woman on the shoulders, well, now whether she's a doctor, a lawyer, a school teacher, whatever, the chances are pretty high she's going to tell you she was involved in Girl Scouting.
You can tell the difference, too.
Yes, you
I know,
can.
for instance, we've got a son-in-law. They've been married a couple of years now, but when I first met him, I made a comment. I said, you know, if I didn't know him, I would say that he's probably been an Eagle Scout. And the daughter says, he was. He was. You know, you can tell a difference.
Yes,
you can tell a difference when kids go through programs such as this.
That's right.
And yeah,
some of our well-known Hillary Clinton, Girl Scout, Katie Couric, Girl Scout, Governor Nikki Haley, Girl Scout. You know, and it just goes on and on and on. Condoleezza Rice, Girl Scout. 70% of our female senators were Girl Scouts, and 52% of all women in business. 52%. That's over half of all women in business were Girl Scouts. We have a huge alumni of about 59 million girls, 59 million adults that was a part of Girl Scouting.
Wow. You know, I have to throw this in here, being that I talk normally politics. I can't. Looking around the room, you wouldn't believe that, would you? Yeah, there's everything around here is politics. You know, I was looking at a report that was done back in October of 2014, and it was talking about running for a change, girls in politics pulse poll. And it was talking about the study that found that 67% of girls are interested in politics.
Yes.
Which, you know, that caught me by surprise. That, you know, we're talking about young folk here. That 67% of them were interested in politics. 1 in 5 are very interested, and just less than half are somewhat interested. And it's talking about how more than a third are interested in becoming a politician. So that shows me and Sandy runs in that group also. Joke. That was a joke. I think that is awesome.
Yeah.
I think that is. Oh, look at the goose. Look here, goosebumps. Y'all see those across the room? I think it's awesome. And they wonder why it's in South Carolina. You see very few women actually involved in politics. I mean, it's still kind of a no, you don't want women in politics. They belong at home. That stigma still exists here.
You're absolutely right, and it's funny. I have to laugh when you say that, Bill, because I think of our founder, Juliet Gordon Low, when women back in 1912 used to cook and clean and have babies and do all of those things, and she said, you know what, we can do so much more than that. And she took those women out of those isolated environments and took them out into the open air.
Mm-hmm.
And she taught them how to do things just like boys. The girls played basketball, and they tell time by the stars, and they went hiking. They helped in the war.
Mm-hmm.
So and Juliet Gordon realized then that a woman can do anything she set her mind to. And
whoa! Are you saying a woman is just as good as a man?
Oh, absolutely.
Oh my gosh! Boy, you have crossed the line. Hey, folks, I want to tell you that we normally end the show at 10:00. We're going to go until we're through talking. We're going to go until we're through talking, and so if you have to run, I understand. But we're going to continue, and you can pick up the rest of the show in the archive because it will be recorded and put into the archive as a whole program. So feel free to stay with us, or if you need to go, I know some of you go to other programming, go right ahead, but we're going to continue. Okay, so women are just as good as men. Golly, what a novel statement that is. I fight that all the time. I had someone just the other day, when I say the other day, I'm talking about Saturday, saying, Bill, you sure put a lot of emphasis on working with children, and you're talking about, your intent to help with the Girl Scouts more, and then you're talking about more women need to get in politics. Don't you think you're going a little far?
Mm-hmm.
And I said, I've gone just enough to step out of the water. I think I have a lot farther trip in front of me to get more women involved in South Carolina.
Well, I will tell you, it's a known fact that we outrank men when it comes to things that we do when it comes to our work.
Mm-hmm.
We outperform men, but yet, though, we don't get paid.
Oh, I knew that was going to come up.
That men get paid. Let's talk about this.
Yeah. My wife, she's been in the medical field for 30-plus years.
Mm-hmm.
And she read me a report. Matter of fact, I had her send it to me. It's in my text messaging right now, where women lead the way in the nursing field. We know that more nurses are women than men.
Mm-hmm.
And getting to be there's a lot of doctors that are women.
Mm-hmm.
But they are still vastly underpaid compared to men in the industry.
Yes.
And they're traditionally the nursing field has been female.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
But yet men get paid more than they do.
But I'm here to tell you that the Girl Scouts is changing those kind of statistics.
Good.
We are letting people know what we can do and who we are and what we stand for. So don't be surprised if you see those statistics start to change, because we are going to definitely change those statistics.
Yeah, well, good for you. Good for you. All right, if you had a message that you wanted to pass on to the general public right now about Girl Scouts and the future of Girl Scouts and their children, what would that message be?
That message would be Girl Scouts build girls of courage, confidence, and character who will make the world a better place. Get your children involved in this preventative organization, because we teach girls like I said, how to be fair and honest and how to be responsible. That is one thing that I think we can do more of, being responsible for what we say and being responsible for what we do, and to be a sister to every Girl Scout and be out in the community and doing what needs to be done. I would say get your children involved in this organization. You will not be sorry.
All right, folks, I want to share something else with you right now. I'm sitting here watching her talk and the way she presents herself, and, I'm surprised she hasn't run for president. I mean, obviously you've done this before. You've been through this before, and what a presentation. I mean, you look like you need to be in politics.
Well, when something is rooted and grounded in you, like Juliette Gordon Lowe says, she said, when something is rooted and grounded in you, it rises up in you. And I say to my staff all the time, what's in the heart will come out.
You go. You've got two ladies here with you this morning. Would you mind introducing them and telling us what they do for the organization?
Well, here I have Dana Spivey, and she is the field director for the Florence area. If you want your children involved in this organization in the Florence area, just call Dana at the Girl Scout office, and that telephone number is 669-5174. And I also have my communications director. I'm sure she'll be taking pictures of you and I, Bill, to put in our annual report or somewhere.
Not too bad.
And her name is Donna Lee.
Okay.
And she's out of the headquarters office in Charleston.
In Charleston. Okay. Let's see now. If I remember correctly, I have driven past the home of the founder of Girl Scouts many times. And it's right there near downtown. And it's got the big trees all along the way there.
That's correct.
Yeah.
That's correct.
Yeah, I remember that very well.
Beautiful, beautiful home. Stop by. Stop in.
It is. I'll plan on that soon.
And I'm happy to say that I'm very happy that you have accepted to be on our Girl Scout board.
Well, it hasn't been elected yet. But you convinced me. As if I need a lot of convincing, right? I really put up a tough fight, didn't I? Not, as my daughter would say, not. And she's good at twisting you around so you answer right away.
She's
get her way.
Good at what she does.
Yeah. Okay. In other words, she is good at getting her way. Yeah. There you go. Okay.
She knows the right people to get involved.
There you go. All right. Well, listen. Thank you so much for being here, and it's been a hoot. And thank you for kicking off my month of shows about children and families. And it was a good way to start on a good, positive, uplifting note, and I thank y'all for that. And I hope y'all had a business up here and didn't drive all the way to here from Charleston just to spend a few minutes with me.
Oh, we're in Hartsville tonight. We've got business to do in the Florence area. So, yes, we are here.
Okay, great. Well, thank you very much, and let's hear it for the Girl Scouts, and looking forward to a good time with them. All right, folks, I'll tell you what, that's going to wrap it up in the Pickle Barrel this morning. Tomorrow we do have some other guests coming in, and I'll be putting out notice on Facebook and Twitter and all that stuff. Mid-60s, and look at the new technology I'm learning. My gosh, that goes to show you anything can happen if the pickle is doing all this. So, anyway, y'all have a great day. We'll see you tomorrow morning. We'll talk some more, find out ways how we can get out of this proverbial pickle barrel that we're all in. Have a great one. Bye-bye. See you tomorrow.
Thanks for joining us. You've been in The Pickle Barrel with author, speaker, commentator, and show host, Bill Pickle.